Hello, I'm Jennifer. I'm here to share a story with you this week. I was thinking about how this week there's a lot of celebrations going on and people gathering and finding joy together. And so I came across this book to share with you. It's called And to Think We Thought We'd Never Be Friends. And it's by Mary Ann Hoberman. Some of you have seen this book before, but I couldn't not use it today. It has such fun things in it. Look at these wild things. Instruments, animals, drums. Here we go. One day we were playing outside in our yard when my brother got mad and he pushed me so hard that I pushed him right back. With all of my might and quick as a wink, we were having a fight. We thwacked and we whacked and we walloped away, and we still might be fighting to this very day, punching and pinching my brother and I, if only my sister had not happened by. She was sipping some soda pop right out of a cup, and she said she would share it if we would make up. And since we were thirsty and tired and sore, we each took a drink and we ended our war. It's funny how quickly an argument ends, and to think we thought that we'd never be friends. That night after supper, we turned on TV, but we couldn't agree on what show we should see. I wanted one and my sister another, and both of us hated the choice of the other. And we probably all would be arguing yet if our dad hadn't come in and turned off the set. So we put on our pajamas, curled up in his bed, and he read us a wonderful story instead. It's funny how quickly an argument ends, and to think that we thought we'd never be friends. There's even a kitty cat in there. A day or two later, it wasn't much more, a great big new family moved in right next door. How many were in it? We couldn't quite tell, but they each played an instrument not very well. One played a tuba and one a bassoon. They practiced all morning and all afternoon. They practiced all evening and all through the night. And they kept us from sleeping, and that was not right. So we got out of bed with a hippity hop and we marched off together to beg them to stop. And when we arrived there, they asked us to play. And they did it so nicely that what could we say? I took a whistle, my sister a flute, and my brother a trumpet that gave a big loud toot. My dad took a bugle, my mother a drum, and we all forgot totally why we had come. It's funny how quickly an argument ends, and to think that we thought that we'd never be friends. Then all of a sudden we heard a loud blare as a siren came wailing from out of thin air. A police car pulled over. Out jumped the police, and they told us that we were disturbing the peace. And they said if we didn't stop playing that minute, they'd take us all to jail and put us all in it. My brother got red and my sister grew pale, and everyone trembled about going to jail. I wonder what's going to happen. My mother explained that the noise that we made was because we were practicing for a parade. And she said that the siren had sounded so grand that she begged that they would ride at the head of the band. It's funny how quickly an argument ends. Now all of the police had turned into our friends. We marched down the street, and each person we passed loudly complained at our ear-splitting blast. They begged us to deaden our deafening din until we invited them all to join in. We offered them boxes and kettles and spoons, and once they were playing, they all changed their tunes. They all were so pleased by the music that we made that they became part of our splendid parade. More and more people stepped right into place. More and more people kept up with our pace, strutting and striding and stamping their feet, marching in time to the drum's steady beat. Look at all those people joining in. I wonder what you noticed in that picture. Friends who had squabbled and even stopped talking settled their differences once they were walking. They smiled at each other and marched hand in hand, keeping the beat of the wonderful band. And then we could hardly believe what we saw. Dog and cat enemies marched paw in paw. And when our procession arrived at the zoo, lions and tigers joined in with us too. It's funny how quickly unfriendliness ends, and to think that we thought that we'd never be friends. There's so many fun things in this picture. I wanted to give you a second to look at it. Our music was magic, a magnet to all. As a Pied Piper, they came to its call. And as we kept marching and tooting and drumming, the people kept coming and coming and coming. Hundreds and thousands came running to find us. Thousands and millions fell right in behind us. What a cacophony, what a commotion. Then all of a sudden, we got to the ocean. We came to the place where the whole country ends, with hundreds and thousands and millions of friends. Oh, what could we do now? We started to fret. We couldn't keep marching without getting wet. Then, just as we all began turning around, we heard the most odd and unusual sound. It wasn't a moan. It wasn't a cry. It wasn't a groan, and it was not a sigh. It was more like a humming high on a scale, a whisper, a whistle, a whimper, a wail. A whale? No, a whale. Yes, 100 or more, all of them swimming right straight to the shore, singing their whale songs, grinning with glee. So we jumped on their backs and sailed straight out to sea. Sharks swam around us while baring their teeth. Stingrays kept rising from far underneath. But somehow the songs and the music we played convinced them to join in our ocean parade. For music is magic, it soothes and it mends. And to think we thought that we'd never be friends. We crossed the wide ocean and washed up on land where people kept hearing the sound of our band. And even the ones who came first to the protest soon were parading along with the rest. And it's hard to believe, but I swear that it's true. By the time that we were finished and finally through, and we'd all gotten back to the place we first played, the whole world was marching in one big parade. And before we disbanded and each went on our way, we voted to march every year on that day, to march side by side with the friends we had made and the friends we'd made up with in one big parade. And from that day to this, that is just what we do, with the police siren blaring and the horns hooting too, with our pots and our pans, our trumpets and drums, and everyone, everyone comes. And this is our cheer every year when it ends. Forever and ever, we'll always be friends. I wonder what it is to be friends. I wonder how you make a friend. I wonder what happens if hard feelings come. How do you resolve the problems with your people, your friends, your sister, your brother? I wonder, do you play an instrument? If not, what kind would you play? Have you seen a parade? Have you been in a parade? I wonder what it would be like. Who would be in your parade and why? I wonder which things are worth marching for. Thank you for spending this time with me today. We'll bring you a story again soon. In the meantime, enjoy.